because you can't go back to being naive, nor would you ever want to. Many people feel like they would want to, like ignorance is bliss. Let me just go back to when things were simple.
Yeah.
But once your eyes are open, you're never going backward again. So then it's a choice in many ways to move to wisdom. And that's tough for people to make because anger kind of feels good in some ways. It kind of feels good to lash out at people and to speak up because you feel heard. It's sort of empowering in some ways. And I think that's a good thing for a time. But eventually you become less useful to your fellows. You become less useful like your children or the people that love you the most.
Yeah.
Because that's not really the real version of you either. So like wisdom moving beyond that is a bit of a choice. Welcome back to another episode of Till the Wheels Fall Off. I'm Matt.
I'm Paige.
Got a great episode in store today. We're going to talk about something, I don't know, it's kind of hard to define. What are spouses actually recovering from?
Yeah, we had somebody ask in the community a while back, when you, the non-addicted partner, talk about your recovery, what is it that you are in recovery from?
Is it codependency? Is it secondhand alcoholism? Is it trauma? Is it abuse? Exactly what are we talking about here? We're going to dive into that this week.
Yep.
Be a solid episode. But first, some announcements. First one, the meetup was freaking amazing.
Yes, it was.
The workshop was freaking incredible.
Yeah, we had 19 people show up, and that was amazing. And people flew in, people connected, people engaged, they interacted. I was awkward. It was fabulous.
I don't think you were nearly as awkward as maybe you feel like you were.
I was proud of myself
I was super proud of you.
For getting in front of strangers, because when I was there, I was like, I have not presented in front of people since high school.
And that was how long do you think your high school presentation was?
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
So let's go from that to 8 hours.
About 8 hours. I mean, you still did most of the talking, but I think it went well. I think that people gained some stuff from it and they gained connections. And that was the biggest thing I wanted people to take away from, is like just being in person with people is so different than meeting them online. It's just a totally different vibe. And you feel like you find your tribe.
Yeah. Putting names to faces is really cool. And then beyond that, like understanding like, oh, this is a real human that's dealing with the same thing I'm going through. And it's like, it's one thing to see that online and feel connected. It's a totally another thing to be around people who are going through it and be able to have just conversations back and forth.
It's the energy of the room, I think, that just makes it special, because you're able to actually talk about things that you don't get to talk to with other people. You know, it's very uncomfortable. Yeah, maybe you talk with your therapist about things, but this was just totally different. The people just understand you, they get you, and they just feel you.
It was amazing. And if you were there, we cannot thank you enough for being there, being present with us and being engaged. And the back and forth was what I loved the most.
Yeah.
Like we set it up and it was like, hey, we are not going to lecture up here. I want this to be a conversation. And it was, and it was incredible. Thank you to everybody.
Yes.
That chipped in on conversations, that picked someone up that was going through something, that weighed in on someone's situation, everyone who was there. I'm so grateful. So grateful. We have such amazing people.
My favorite thing about getting like community calls together and just getting the community together in general is that people share their experiences and they help others with things that I'm not really able to help with in that moment because it's not part of my experience, but it's a part of somebody else's experience, and they're able to give them tips or advice or connect them with somebody who can help them with their specific situation. I think that is the coolest thing for me to witness, is allowing them to just talk amongst each other and get advice.
Yeah, a lot of support groups don't allow crosstalk, and we actually encourage it.
Yeah.
We encourage it. I think that there's so much to that.
Yeah.
Like, it would be silly to think that we are the epitome of experts that exist in this space. That's just not true. No. We're the mouthpiece for a lot of people, but they've got a lot of amazing things, and we heard it on full display this last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, like if you don't know what to do with your situation and you need to help with, documentation, or you need help with some legal advice or something like that, we don't have much of that.
No, but someone knows someone who does.
Yeah, exactly. Or they've been down that road and they know that they can guide you through that. And I love that. The connections that Tufo was bringing together is amazing. It's not just you and me.
No.
Tufo isn't you and me. It's a community. It's a community of people helping each other, getting through the most difficult times of their life.
It's really cool. It started as like our battle cry years ago, and now it's become one for so many people. I just love that.
Yeah.
Seeing what's come of it. It's growing. It's becoming a movement. And
Yes.
It's amazing. It's
Yes.
just
So
amazing.
thank you to the amazing wheelies who are part of it, who came to the workshop, who provided feedback. Like we can't thank you enough.
It's amazing. I heard one of my favorite podcasters say this about their listeners. He said, I have the most unreasonably reasonable people in the world that follow the show. And I would agree with that. Like the most unreasonably reasonable people.
Yeah.
Just amazing, down to earth, incredible people.
Yeah.
Incredible people. We had couples there. That was amazing too. Wasn't sure how that was going to go. I think in the beginning it was like, this could go one way or the other.
Right.
And it was incredible. And the feedback once again that we got was amazing. Hey, and if you're hearing this and you're like, dang it, I missed out, stop rubbing it in. Well, there's going to be more of these.
Yes.
If that's one thing we learned from this is that we need to do more of these things. We need to maybe take the show on the road, but the next one is already in the works and details to follow on that. So be on the lookout. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Oh, and the meetup the next morning was really cool too.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Matt ate a donut.
Totally ate donuts. I told you I would, man. Didn't believe me, but I did. Hey, we've also got, I know I've been saying this for about 2 months now, but new merch is on the way.
Oh, well, finally it's in the works.
It actually is. Like the order's been submitted and they're working on it.
You dropped it off. Thank
I did.
you, dear.
I actually dropped off hats and we've got some tees, small orders of stuff for the summer for anyone that would want to rep it. We've got some cool shirts coming out. We've got some hats. It's hat season where we are. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, not so much, but
I love a good hat. I'm excited about the hats.
Yeah, that'd be like your pool hat, right?
Yeah. Or running errands hat. Some people used to call me Sandra Bullock
because you always look like someone.
Yeah, I look like someone trying to hide. Yeah, I would wear a black hat and just like I'm driving around like that, and I'm like, I just like the black hat because it was solid. But I think our twofold hats are going to be really awesome because they're going to be clean as hell.
Yeah, and we're just about out of sweatshirts. I think we maybe just have a couple left in a few sizes.
Yeah, I think we have like 11 sweatshirts left, and those are 2 different designs.
Okay.
There's one design that's completely gone. I looked it up today.
Okay, so there's still some out there. If you want an oversized sweatshirt, they're still available. Stickers are out there too.
Yay! Did you read my mind?
No,
I was
but I can.
I was gonna bring up the stickers.
Got tons of stickers
because we never talk about the stickers. I forget that we have stickers on the website.
Yeah, we've also got rocks. Holding Recovery Rock here. People in 12-step communities get tokens of sobriety for varying lengths, 3, 6, 9 months, year. But spouses don't get anything. So if you're a listener and you've put your spouse through a lot and you want to find a way to thoughtfully recognize their journey, we made these rocks.
Thank you for being a rock.
That's what it says in the back. Just like that. Thank you for being my rock, actually.
Oh.
Thank you for being my rock. And it's got our TUFO logo on the front. Last thing, and we'll talk about it throughout the episode, but the course is still out there, still available for 75% off right now. Using the code Wheelies75. That's Wheelies with an S, 75.
Yes, and we have weekly calls with that as well if you're part of the process. I host them on Wednesday evenings. So if you want to be involved in that, it's pretty great. We had our first call last week, and getting off that call was just, I had so much energy. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I got off and I was just like, it felt good. It was nice to just, talk with people going through what they were going through. So if you're part of the course every week, we will have a call.
Yeah, guaranteed. We still do community calls from time to time whenever we get time.
Yes.
And
that might shift. We're looking into it.
Yeah, we're working on a solution. Like we know that not everyone wants the course or can get the course. Of course, this is an option right now. We still want to make sure that you get some kind of a resource. So we are working on that. I promise you.
Yep.
Promise you. Okay, let's get into this episode. What are you actually recovering from, Paige?
Okay, so a lot of people might think that you're recovering from being codependent, or you have a controlling nature, or maybe you have like
attachment issues,
or some say that you're a co-addict. Like there's a lot of almost victim blaming type things when that happens.
Just labels that they're kind of thrown out there. But nothing quite summarizes it.
No, nothing really does quite summarize it until you get into it and you realize, oh, like when people find us and they hear us and they start listening to us on the podcast, they're like, it's like a switch. Something happens within them where they're like, this is nothing like I've ever heard before. And they're speaking to me. They're talking to me. I can feel it. It's just different than when you hear the things about like codependency, co-addict, and all those things. So what I'm recovering from, or what I have recovered from for a while or been working on, it's always going to be a lifelong process, right? Like even your recovery is a lifelong process. Personal development is going to be a lifelong process.
No finish line.
Right. There's no finish line. I don't ever want to stop. I'm always learning and growing and shifting and doing things. But the start of it was realizing that I had trauma. That is really what I had to start recovering from, like emotional trauma, betrayal trauma, psychological damage, trust issues, things from being abused from narcissistic traits, trauma bonds, gaslighting, manipulation.
I like how you tiptoed around not calling me a
things.
narcissist right there. You did, didn't you?
Did. You saw my face.
Narcissistic abuse would be fair to say. Now, am I a narcissist? No. But the abuse can be generalized, and anyone can dole that out. There are narcissistic behaviors that you don't necessarily have to be a narcissist to display.
Right. Everyone has narcissistic traits. Right? Yes, but a lot of people who struggle with substance use or substance abuse, they have narcissistic traits that affect us. Just like in our last episode, we talked about the behaviors from the addict that impact us. And that's what we're recovering from.
Yeah, I had very little empathy. I was extremely immature and very selfish.
Very selfish. So selfish.
Throw those things into a bucket, mix them together, and it sort of looks like narcissism.
Yeah. And it feels like it.
Some even call it narcissism. Like I heard this, and I'm not sure whether or not I agree with it, but I like what it alludes to anyway. And it's that not all narcissists are alcoholics, but all alcoholics are narcissists.
Yeah.
Now I stay away from absolutes. I don't like the word. I don't
like
the word all.
Yeah.
But I would say that that's pretty accurate. That many people that are substance abusers display narcissistic-like traits.
Right, and you've worked.
I would say it's accurate.
You've worked with people for the last 11 years. And is it safe to say that almost everybody you've worked with has had this type of behavior?
Just about all of them, yeah.
These traits?
Yeah, just about everyone.
Yeah. And that's a lot of people you've worked with. I mean, you go to the recovery center and talk with people. You have people that you sponsor. I mean, there's a lot. And you see a very similar dynamic within these people.
I've heard the stories of literally thousands of people that have suffered from substance abuse. Like firsthand experiences, sat down, talked to them, spent time with them. And yeah, we're a lot alike. No one likes to be generalized or labeled, and I understand that. I understand why. But there are behaviors that are very, very common amongst us.
Yeah.
Very common.
Right. And that's kind of why we do what we do, and we're able to help a lot of people in the same situation. And then when they find us, like I said earlier, they feel, oh man, these are my people. I feel something. Something is different here.
My people.
Yeah.
What was that from?
I see. No. That was from Joe Dirt.
Varsity Blues. Whenever he started the cult, and his mom was like, his dad was like, who are these people in our kitchen? These are my people. Remember that?
Yes, I do. As a little kid, right?
Yeah, the little kid started a cult.
That's so funny.
They were paying attention to the football player brother, and he was starting a little cult.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I think I've only seen that movie like one time.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just wasn't a fan of it too much, even though I know a lot of quotes from it, and there was a lot of country talk in it.
Dawson's Creek guy.
Yeah, Vanderbilt.
Vanderbeek.
No, we're gonna say
James
this to
Vanderbeek. I think it's his name. I'm going with that. Final
sure,
answer.
Somebody's gonna tell us you've got it all wrong.
And we're getting way too far.
Yeah, we're getting off of this. Okay, so let's get back to this. Like I said in the last episode, we talked about the behaviors that impact us. And when we start to recover, when we start this journey, we learn how to recognize manipulation. We learn about toxic situations. We learn to build our self-esteem. We learn how to trust our instincts again. We learn how to stand up for ourselves in a healthy way. And we figure out what we will and will not tolerate. And then we become determined to change our mindset to be who we truly want to be. Like we let go of so much fear. Like there's so much that goes into it. It's hard to have a whole episode of what do you do to get there?
Yeah, it's sort of like, it's like mindset training. A lot of it is.
Yes, it is.
And shifting of, previously held notions and beliefs and ideas about what addiction really is and who are you really dealing with? Like, what are you really dealing with?
Right.
It's like, we've talked about this, how we just love these, like, these simple to easy to understand concepts where it's like things are black or white or left or right or up or down. It's like addict. So you throw all this stuff on that, and there's so much information in that. And like on one hand, like you've got like the choice model of addiction, the other you've got like the disease model of addiction, and there's different ways to respond based on being the partner of each of those beliefs. And then sometimes people kind of mix them up. And it's just so confusing. You can go on one website and be like, oh, I'm a horrible person.
Yeah.
And on the next website, be like, oh, he's a horrible person.
Yeah.
And what's the truth here? It's so confusing. I think that we do a pretty good job here.
I do too.
I do.
I think we find a good balance here.
Were we perfect? No. Not even close. But I think we do a pretty good job here based on what else I see out there.
Right. I agree. So like I said, it's a lifelong process, but it does take time and it takes determination. Like it takes that moment of saying, I have to do something. I have to change. I have to recover. And a lot of people are like, I don't know what I'm recovering from. Well, this is how you start.
Let's get into this, man. You want to go over the Peterson stuff first?
I do.
Okay, so his politics aside, Jordan Peterson is a Canadian psychologist. I don't know much about the guy's politics, but anytime I read about him, I always see some posts or comments underneath what he's said that's generally alludes to some controversy. I wouldn't consider myself like a supporter of his by any means, but I've read some of his stuff and I think he's got some good ideas. And I think that
we find the gray area with a lot of people.
Exactly. I think that people, regardless of what
healthy.
They say in their private lives or publicly about any given issue, you can go back and read what they've studied and what they've researched and what they've written, and you can find some good stuff. So let's just cast aside personal beliefs on Dr. Peterson for a moment. And he had this concept that I really, really love. This is an old lecture. Like it looked like he was wearing a really boxy 90s suit.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
If it's that old?
With the big shoulder pads and like the long cuffs. Yeah, it was
gosh.
old. But he was talking about the journey of moving from being naive to cynical to wise. So from naivety to cynicism to wisdom. And like I sent it to you and we quickly drew the parallels there of the journey of a spouse or partner. Being completely naive when you show up and thinking, oh my God, I just got to talk him. I'm just going to talk to him and he'll stop. And I'll just tell him how much this affects me and he'll stop. And not really understanding addiction. And then time goes on and these behaviors don't change and you just get really cynical about things. And a lot of people stay there for a very long time. And then ultimately some move to wisdom, but many don't. A lot of people are stuck in those first two stages. Yeah. So Paige has done an excellent job, I think, in going over the episode notes before in our pre-show prep about what this journey looks like really for a spouse.
That was a short prep.
Because you've been through all three of these phases.
Yes, I have. And I've even mentioned in our group before that I was naive for a long time when we were younger because people had asked, I thought, well, if love wasn't enough, how did y'all stick together? And I said, I was really naive back then. You're really trusting of people. You think that you can trust others because, we don't lie. We think that people are like us. And we only see the good. We ignore the bad, which that can cause more harm if we're not able to see the bad part of things. When we're naive, we just go way too far to the super kind side.
Do you think that's the most common question that you get is how did you stay for so long? How did you get through this?
Yeah, I get
probably
that question.
Is, right?
I get that question a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, like someone that doesn't know, maybe someone's just now listening for the first time, like, how did you stick through it? How did you get through this? What's your answer?
Well, we were young.
Young and naive.
I was young and naive. Yeah. People have to remember that you were 27.
I got sober the day before my 27th birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we were young.
We were young. Yeah. And we'd been together since we were 14.
At 26, 27, a lot of people are still like kind of coming out of that college phase and they're still drinking.
Some people aren't getting married yet or anything. Like we had gotten married and we had a kid. And I just thought, okay, he's going to grow up. He's going to grow up. He's going to grow up.
Absolutely.
At each milestone, that's what I was thinking because that's what we think. When you're that young, why would you not think that?
That's what movies tell us,
That's what movies tell you. That's what maybe even, history of your parents or grandparents tell you because my grandparents have been married. Oh my gosh.
Didn't they
over
get married
60 years
by a farmer when they were like 12 or something? It was something like that.
They were like 15 or 16. They were very young. I don't know why he came up with some farmer ass. But they were married for a really long time. So that was what, I looked up to. My parents got divorced, but it was healthy, the reason why they did. But we were young. So when people ask me that, I'm like, I was naive and there was only like 18 months of like shit. There was 18 months of really bad shit of when I was getting out of the naive stage. I was getting into the cynical stage at that point because I was pissed. I was getting angry with you. I was like, this is not right. I have been dealing with this for a while, but it was progressive, you know?
The previous, like, I don't know, so 10 years in it, really only 2 were really, really bad. The previous 8, you're just naive. You're thinking, oh, he'll grow out of it. Everything's cool. You don't even think about addiction, really. You think, because you can look around your circle at that age and think to yourself, like, he's not that much different. On the surface anyway. I wasn't that much different than all of our friends. So it's like, oh, well, they're all doing it. And he'll probably be like them and grow up.
Right.
He'll get it
but
figured out.
That's why I didn't look at the addiction and I looked at the behaviors because we were so young. So I was like, no, he's just partying. He's just having fun. Or I didn't know that you were in as much as you were in. You know, it was just the behaviors.
Yeah. And I don't want anyone, like when you tell the story, I get the fear in some ways, like someone who's been in it for a very long time is going to feel like singled out or, oh my God, how could I not have seen this sooner? But it's not as simple as you think. Like, I don't want anyone to feel like they're wrong for being in this for quite some time because many people do hold on to that belief that things just work themselves out because that's the typical way it works. Like, there are a lot of substance abusers, but it's not like the majority of the country is a substance abuser or anything. So you can find more healthy examples of people that have figured it out and kind of grown out of it than you can guys that did things like me.
Yeah.
So you just don't think it's going to be you.
But it progresses really slowly too.
Yeah.
So then it becomes your norm and then you minimize and then it's just like this is how your life is. So it's hard for you to go through that from that naive stage to being cynical because of what's going on within your life. There's not much changing quickly. It's changing over time and you don't recognize the big changes until much later down the line.
It's like gaining weight for me. Anytime I've ever gained weight, it's almost like I wake up one day and it's like,
oops.
Whoa, what happens? But while it's happening, you don't realize it. You know?
It. Yeah.
One day you're like,
exactly.
Oh no.
It's like, oh, what did I do?
What have I done? I need to reverse this.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of people who come into our group that are in the naive stage, and I'm never going to make them feel awful for being naive. I mean, this is just
everyone starts here.
Everybody starts
every human
there.
starts here.
And you think that you can communicate in a way that's going to get through to them. I mean, we still get these questions on TikTok, like, how do I fix it? How do I help my partner? How do I make them see what they're doing? How do I communicate? How do I do all this? That's the naive stage. Those are the questions that you're not going to know the answers to until you become cynical.
The heartbreaking part about just being naive in general is that it is characterized by just pure innocence.
Yes.
And that's the part that breaks my heart.
My heart.
It's the innocence of it all.
Yeah.
It's just, you're not aware of the complexities and the darker aspects of someone's personality or just life in general yet.
Yeah. And not only was I naive for a long time within our relationship, I was naive in other areas in my life as well, to where I thought, okay, we can just solve problems if we communicate. You've been naive as well in other areas of life.
I mean,
like it's just,
you believe that people are just inherently good and just very trustworthy and that life is straightforward and things are pretty simple.
Yeah.
That's sort of like naive. That's what it feels like. I think the word almost sounds, it has like a negative connotation to me.
It does. I think so too.
Because usually someone's like, oh, you're just naive. It's like, no, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, we're all naive. Yeah. Children are naive. They don't have the experience yet to tell them that things aren't exactly as they seem.
Right.
And so when you're in this naive stage, it's actually, I mean, it's beautiful in some ways, but it's also dangerous in others because you are unaware of people that would take advantage of you or
that
of
right
people
there.
that could harm you.
Yep.
You're just not aware of that. I remember being a kid and like the first time, like the World Trade Center bombing that happened in the 90s. I remember asking my dad about this. This is pre 9/11 and asking him like, why would someone do that? And he was like, well, not everyone likes Americans. And I was like, wait, what? Because I was like 8 or 9 years old. And I'm not looking to hurt anyone or be hurt. I couldn't understand why people would do something like that. And then you learn about politics and all the stuff that's been going on for ages. And but I couldn't have grasped it even if he explained it to me. Yeah. I was just naive about the world and its people. I just had no idea something like that could live in someone's mind, you know, and it's innocence. And that's what I hate about many of the people that are harmed by this. It's just, there's just pure innocence and that's a beautiful thing, but it can also be a dangerous thing.
Absolutely.
Because the world just isn't that straightforward.
Right.
It's just not. And addiction isn't that straightforward. And narcissistic abuse is not that straightforward.
Right.
So what happens when someone stays in this naive situation and then they learn that something's maybe not right. They start to do some research, and they generally try a handful of things to fix somebody, right? They're asking the obvious questions like, how can I support them? How can I help? Like, what can I do? Like, we got to talk about this and let's get this figured out. Like, you kind of clap your hands like, all right, let's go. And then what happens? They generally let you down.
They let you down.
Addiction does not listen to reason, really. It doesn't necessarily care about, what's best or anything like that. And so you move into this area of cynicism.
Yes. Like, so you're getting stung over and over again whenever you're kind of in the naive stage. You're just realizing that you're exhausting all of your options in a way. And then you get to a point where it's like almost surrendering to where you're just going to be angry at what's going on. And I stayed in the cynical stage for a while. Like, you begin to look at all of the bad shit in others and you question everything they do. So this is not just within your relationship. This is everybody. You start to think the world is manipulative. You think that it's toxic. You may begin isolating just a bit. So I isolated because I didn't want to harm anyone with my cynicism. Like, I knew I was cynical. I knew that I was pissed off. I knew that I was looking at all of the bad in everybody around me. And I didn't want to put that on them because I knew deep down that wasn't true. I just didn't know how to get out of that yet. I was working on getting out of it, but I knew that it was something that I had to go through. I knew that I had to learn how to manage my anger and shift my thought process and get to the next stage, which, y'all, the cynical stage took a long time. This was not a month. This wasn't months. This wasn't, a couple of years. This was actually a few years. I didn't start getting into the wisdom stage until I don't know, maybe 5 years into therapy.
Yeah. If you've been a listener to the show for a while, there was a concept that your therapist actually introduced to you that I think a lot of people can easily understand. And so it's a beautiful illustration of the way that life tends to work, where things operate like the pendulum on a grandfather clock.
Yep.
Where on this one hand, one extreme, you're naive. Mm-hmm. And then you start to recognize that maybe the world's not so cut and dry after all. And there's harsh realities, that there's disappointments and challenges and people that let you down. And so then you transform into the other extreme, which is cynical, which is the world used to be really good. That's one extreme. Now it's everything's bad.
Yes.
Everything's bad. And your previously held beliefs and notions about things are just shattered. It just kind of leaves you jaded and like skeptical of everyone. Like you mentioned, like just distrusting and defensive. And you think that everyone is trying to harm you, or they're selfish or deceitful. And like, it's a natural reaction to being harmed. Yeah. And this is oftentimes when spouses generally find us, I would say that this is where they are.
Yes.
Most of the time, I would think.
I think that whenever they actually start engaging,
like listening to the episodes and stuff,
and doing it,
they quickly go from naive to this.
Yes, they do. And I will say that this is better than being naive.
Absolutely agree with that.
You want to be cynical, because when you become cynical, you're able to really start making changes.
Yeah, cynicism is actually an improvement.
Yeah.
But it's not ideal.
No, you don't want to stay there forever. This is where you start making changes, though. This is where you have a little bit of patience. This is where you start really learning. This is where you start your therapy and changing and just doing all of these different things that are going to help you get to the next stage. Yeah,
like this is when you start to recognize and realize that there's been some degree of manipulation and some abuse that's been going on in this relationship. And you start to get skeptical and distrustful of people's words, and you start to look at their actions. And it's quite the process to go from that. And you're going to be mad. You're going to be mad at yourself. You're going to be mad at them. You're going to be pissed off, right? And you will have a fire and an edge to you. But this can be beneficial. We've talked about using anger as fuel, using that pain as fuel. And ultimately, like you mentioned, you can't stay here forever. No. And people that do, you can kind of tell because it begins to wear on you. It kind of wears on your soul. It's like, oh God, I'm just mad all the time, and I hate that too.
Starts to harden you.
Yeah, maybe too much.
Too much. Now this life does harden us a little bit, and and now that I think about it,
it makes you kind of gangster.
When we're going, yeah, it does make you a little gangster. We were talking about how gangster we kind of were. Remember, we were discussing that, how like we actually had kind of a gangster life back in the day.
Unfortunately,
we were literally
like rolling up to drug
about
houses in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
yeah.
But and I think I'm going to shift my mindset here. I kind of just had a thought, is that maybe it doesn't harden us. Maybe it just brings us, maybe we're just wiser. Maybe we're just wiser. It's not like Unless, like you said, you stay in it too long, it can make you super hard to where you're just angry all the time, which anger does not do good for your body. But I've told people, this life hardens you a little bit, but I don't think if you get past this stage, I don't think it hardens you as much because you're finding the balance.
I think that naivety, like everyone starts there, right? Because you're born into a world that you know nothing about. So everyone's going to be naive. And then you're often pushed into cynicism through the actions of other people or realizations that you come to through education. And then you're kind of left with the choice because you can't go back to being naive, nor would you ever want to. Many people feel like they would want to, like ignorance is bliss. Let me just go back to when things were simple.
Yeah.
But once your eyes are open, you're never going backward again. So then it's a choice in many ways to move to wisdom. And that's tough for people to make because anger kind of feels good in some ways. It kind of feels good to lash out at people and to speak up because you feel heard. It's sort of empowering in some ways. And I think that's a good thing for a time. But eventually you become less useful to your fellows. You become less useful like your children or the people that love you the most.
Yeah.
Because that's not really the real version of you either. So like wisdom moving beyond that is a bit of a choice. And understanding, okay, that it requires a bit of balance to move to wisdom where you're looking at it really what it boils down to. It's a balanced perspective of the world's not all good or all bad. It's actually a mixture of the two and knowing how to protect yourself. That's where wisdom comes into play. It's knowing how to identify manipulation and abuse and all these deceitful tactics that people use while also understanding that there's still some beauty left in the world. Yeah. And it's a tough thing to do. Like the serenity prayer, like something that, one of the first things I was taught in 12-step was a serenity prayer. And that's essentially what it asks. I mean, it's asking for wisdom to know the difference between the things I can and can't control, the things that are just going to happen in the world and the things that kind of live inside my head between my ears that I can. Yeah. And it's tough to do.
Yeah.
It's tough to do.
It is, but it's such a healthy place to be. And you learn like who gets your empathy, who gets your time,
who gets your energy.
Yes. You learn and you understand that not everyone is a snake, but there are also people who are not good for you anymore. You learn where there are situations that you need to avoid to protect yourself, like you just said a minute ago. And then we recognize, who we can and cannot give ourselves to.
Yeah. And like being naive has some advantages. Like it makes people hopeful and it makes people open. And cynicism has advantages too, because it makes you critically aware of things. And then it also helps you discern things, like tell the difference between right and wrong and good and bad, because everything used to just be good. And now if everything's bad, then there's a different, like you can't know bad without good. You can't know good without bad. So cynicism has some advantages too. It's just, it can't be an all or nothing venture, right? You have to be able to move forward with that and figure out, okay, if I'm going to live a happy, fulfilling life and ever love again or trust again or anything else, there's got to be some limit to this, some limit to that. And that's where this balance comes from. You combine the hope and openness of being naive with the awareness and discernment of cynicism. And so it's more of a mature perspective. Right. And it's going to allow you to construct engagement with the challenges that you come across. Like I'm making the rules now. Yeah. I'm making the rules. Life's not going to happen to me. I'm going to happen to life.
Right. And you feel more comfortable setting boundaries. You start to figure out what you really want in life. But it is so hard to get to that stage. You want to talk about how to get to the wisdom stage?
How to move from, well, I think before we do that real quick, I think that you did mention a moment ago, like how long do these phases last?
Yeah.
You could be naive for as long as you're sheltered, I think.
That's a really good way to put it.
As long as you're closed off to ideas and information. Like there are people who are raised in particular cultures, and not a knock on anyone, I'm just speaking just facts here. Yeah. You can be raised in a particular culture that doesn't deal with the outside world, and you can remain naive in that literal sense to the ways of the real world. Just kind of like, you're in a bubble, sort of. You can remain that way your entire life, but generally in these types of relationships, eventually you're going to ask the question, something's going to happen that's more on the extreme side, like a DUI or some kind of altercation or some kind of betrayal. Something's going to happen that's going to lead you to Google. Yeah. And you're going to Google and you're going to find something like Till the Wheels Fall Off, or you're going to find something like Alanon or something on addiction and say, what is this? And you're going to start to read about it. And then you'll fall into cynicism generally. And I would say in general, it lasts years.
Yes.
In general. Now, could you move through it quicker? Maybe, but I don't really think so. I've never seen anyone do it. Like, I don't know how you could emotionally process all that information that quickly. I think you'd have to live in it for quite some time.
Right.
Years.
Yeah.
And then wisdom is, like we mentioned in the beginning, it's sort of a lifelong process. But that takes years to move out of cynicism. Years. So you move into this wisdom phase, and then you become more wise as you understand more about the world, and you start to let hope back in your heart at times. Yeah. And you get hurt again and figure out, okay, what did I go wrong there?
But you take those chances a lot more than if you were in the if you were in the naive stage or in the cynical stage. When you're in the wisdom stage, you're going to take a lot more chances and be okay with failing a lot more than you were before, because your self-esteem is going to be built up more, because you're going to know where you stand in life. Yeah. So it'll be easier, and you'll learn from all of the mistakes quicker.
So back to your question, moving from cynicism.
Yeah.
Some of the ways that you can do that, moving on from cynicism. Education is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Which is what you're doing here. Hey, welcome. You're doing,
listening.
You're doing it.
You're doing it.
We've talked about counseling and therapy. And this was a massive part of your journey.
Yes.
It really was the springboard to us truly understanding each other in our marriage. I think I'd recommend it for everyone. If you're in the state of Texas, check out Taylor Counseling Group. Dr. Taylor is a partner of ours, full disclosure, but I wholly believe in their mission and their values and what they're doing over there. Incredible. I mean, if you're looking for a counselor, you're in the state, but if you're not, you can find counselors that can work you through this. And Paige has got some personal preference on the type of counselor. So people ask you often, like, what kind of counselor should I look at? What kind of therapist should I look at?
Somebody who specializes in narcissistic abuse, or trauma or trauma.
A lot of people go the addiction route.
Right. Which can be somewhat beneficial, but sometimes it can be, sometimes it's not the best route to go, because I believe in a lot of these relationships, there's trauma that needs to be dealt with, and only typically a trauma therapist is going to be your best bet with dealing with that.
Yeah. I'm
not sure. Now, if the trauma therapist has specialized in addiction as well, that might be beneficial. I'm not sure. But I just think that the trauma route needs to be the best way to go. There
aren't enough therapists in the world. We know that, which is why we have counseling for the futures. If you want to know more about that mission, check out counselingfutures.org. But there are a bunch of them out there. So if you meet with a therapist and you just don't feel like it's right, check out another one. Check out as many as you can until you find someone you feel like is a good fit.
Yeah.
So therapy and like sort of what we do different. We're not licensed. We do not have any licenses. We don't offer medical advice. I hope that people realize that at this point. But what we do have is life experience here. We have a partner that's a therapist to check us and make sure, hey, you can't say that, or you can say that. But the thing about therapists, what I've heard from people that I've worked with anyway, and people in the community or people that message us, is that, I mean, therapists, you can read about things in books and you can learn about things. You can read studies, you can get a lot of amazing information, but there's something about doing it in your own personal life that really connects the dots on the information and like how to use it. So you can't really ask a therapist, hey, have you been through this before?
Right.
But there are some that know more than others. And I would say you'll know it when you find the right fit.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they have to have had gone through it themselves. They might have worked with enough people just to know at this point, because you can learn through other people's experience that you work with in therapy. But, find someone that is a fit, because something I have seen, this is my fear for a lot of people, is they'll go see like an addiction specialist. And let's say an LCDC or something like that. Maybe they're an addict themselves. And maybe that they have a lot of compassion for addiction. Maybe that they really buy into, they just need more and more love. That's not exactly the best thing for you.
Right.
That's not the best thing for you. So just keep looking if you don't have a good one yet.
Yeah. And I know that some may listen and say, I don't have trauma. I don't have trauma.
I haven't been through anything.
Yeah. I did not know, guys, that I had trauma until I went to therapy. We didn't realize she was a specialist in trauma. Like, I don't know if you knew that. I don't even remember. You're the one who found her, because I was crazy at the moment. I couldn't find a therapist.
I found her website, and it was like something about the vibe of her site and her biography.
Yeah.
was like, this is Paige's person. I know that she's going to love this person.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things. The universe just worked out that way.
Yeah.
I had no idea. No, I didn't go looking. We just got lucky.
Right. And I know that online, like it said something like she specialized in like anxiety and depression and stuff like that. But when I went in and we started discussing things, we actually went down the EMDR. I always get this wrong.
EMDR.
Yeah. EMDR route. And I was like, my mind was blown because I was like, I didn't want to accept the fact that I had trauma, but I did. And I don't even know if you really understood either. It took a long time for us to actually get through that and realize, holy crap,
I didn't recognize
happened.
I was an abuser for quite some time.
Right.
Like I knew I had done some things that were effed up, but I didn't realize that when I went back and look at it, I go, holy hell.
Right.
Like shit. Like I check every box on this page.
Yeah.
That was mind blowing.
Right.
Talk about going from naive.
I know, right?
But another thing you can do if you're in the cynical phase, support groups are really helpful.
Oh yeah.
I recommend Tufo Community. If you don't know about our community, we have a community. I'm going to recommend our community before I recommend any other community that exists for spouses and partners that are out there. If you don't know about it, check it out on our social media profile links or on our website. There's a link. Isn't there a link there?
Yeah, there's a link in there.
Tufo Community, TWFO Community. The benefit of a community is to see that, one, that you're not alone. That's really helpful. It's going to be very validating to know that, okay, I'm not crazy. I'm not alone. They're going through the same thing that I'm going through. But then when you see it enough times, you'll be able to craft solutions in your mind.
Yeah.
And then when you start to participate and you start to share your experience or, hey, I went through this and this is something I did that worked, suddenly you have gone from victim to survivor, and you've now gone into the next realm, which is you're helping other people. That will move you. That will give you compassion for yourself, for everyone that put you in that situation to begin with, and for the other people going through it, and you develop wisdom through that.
Yeah, absolutely.
In addiction, it's kind of the same way. You're an addict, and first you're sort of naive, then you're stuck in it, and you become cynical. You're like, I can't ever beat this thing. F the world. I'll probably just die, and I don't even really care anymore. I really don't give a shit what happens. That's just, it is what it is, whatever. I don't care. You become very cynical about everything. I'll never beat this thing. I'll never figure it out. They will. I won't. You know, you kind of separate the world in these two groups of people that figure it out and then those that can't. And then you dive in, and like, that's what recovery is. It's wisdom. But the way I'm able to keep it, I find the best, is helping other people.
Yeah.
And helping other people, it sort of cements in my mind that, like, this is part of my identity. This is who I am. And that you've got experience that's beneficial to other people. And like, that's the most uplifting and empowering thing in the world. That's really, really helpful. So we talked about therapy, we talked about education, and then support groups are really, really, really helpful. Like, you can read all you want about things, but education on its own, I don't know, could clutter you more than anything. I think it's beneficial. Like, I never stop reading or learning. You don't ever stop listening or reading or learning about anything.
Right.
But it comes a point where you put it into action. And like, support groups are where that happens.
Right.
So if you're not in the community, come in the community.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Do you think that someone could fix this on their own without a community? Like with it, like a spouse?
What do you mean? Say that.
Let's say that you're a spouse of an alcoholic, and you read about everything online, but you don't have that community aspect.
I think you're missing a huge piece.
So you didn't have a community for a very long time, which is why I'm asking you.
Right. I think that if I would have had a community, it would have been a lot easier for me to understand what I was dealing with and how I could get tips and tricks from other people, you know, and not feel less alone. So yeah, I think that it would have been really beneficial for me.
I agree with that. I think it would have been, honestly, probably rockier on the relationship.
Yeah.
Because one person's educated, the other person's not ready to change, which just would have been more evidence that you were right. As I'm giving you like grief for the things that you've learned that are absolutely true. Like, what do they say? Like, no one gets more angry than a narcissist being accused of something they definitely did. Yes.
Okay. So when I was in therapy, I was told to go through certain support groups for the things that I was dealing with in there. It wasn't about you. It was about other parts of our lives.
Okay.
That I had to go through, and I started going through groups, and I started reading more things. I started educating myself. I started empowering myself. I started going through all of these things and learning from other people and their experiences. And you didn't like it because it did go against what you believed because you were still in a naive stage. So I was in the cynical stage while you were in the naive stage while I was going through support groups and all that process.
I'm glad you brought that up because that will happen in relationships.
Yes.
You're not going to move concurrently through these things.
No.
Like you're not going to move with each other. It's going to be this sort of like back and forth lead
it's not going to be balanced.
Yeah.
But eventually you figured it out.
So a lot of the traditional ways in spouses dealing with this, like Alanon's been one of them. That's probably the most traditional modality where they go in there and they work the steps. They read the book of AA. They've got some other literature of their own. And codependency is a major focus. You didn't go this route though.
No. I mean, I did a few meetings while you were in treatment, and I think I might have done one or two after you got out of treatment, but I didn't stick with it. And then even a few years later, I went through it again.
If you have a good Alanon group, that is amazing. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, it's a great place to go for support and community. And I think that you should be able to get as much help as you possibly can within your situation to help you heal.
I was on a page today and there was someone who chimed in. This is not our group. This is another group, and said, I do not like Alanon. I don't like it. Not for me. I went in there. Felt like I was judged. I was criticized. I was victim shamed. I was all these things, victim blamed, this didn't feel at home. And I've never seen a thread take off like that one did. For every one person saying that they love their group, they're sorry that was their experience, but keep trying more meetings because they found just pure freedom from what they were suffering from in Alanon. But for every one of those, there was like 10 people that were like, that was my experience too. It sucked. That was my experience too. It was awful. That was my experience too. I'm never going back. So when we started Independently Strong, that was sort of like, what else could there be? And so we got with a therapist, and it's trauma informed. It uses research and social learning theory, the power of communities, the power of your environment, factoring into the way that you can recover. And like shameless plug here, I think that when we talk about like a new way to go about this, whether you're listening, and it doesn't necessarily mean you need to go out and buy the course right now, but there are other ways that do this. And sort of, this is what we do. We use the education aspect of this thing. We understand that you will move from being naive to being cynical to being empowered and wise. And that's what the course does. That's what the course does. As we're talking about this is exactly what we do, which is why when this clip from Peterson came up, I was like, hey, we're doing this. Like, we're doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, like, we help you with your all or nothing thinking. We help you with your perfectionist mindset, because a lot of us have that. We help you with your people pleasing tendencies, with which a lot of us have that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just one of those places where you're still stuck in the naive space, right? Because you want to please everybody, thinking that everybody is going to receive it the same, or you're going to.
It's like some people value like reciprocation,
right.
So like treat others the way you want to be treated.
Exactly.
Without understanding though that there's some malicious people in the world,
right? Or
that people stuck in an active addiction don't speak that language. They don't really care. Like as an addict, my thing was like, if you give me something 10 times, I'm taking it 10 times, and I will give you nothing in return.
Right. Yeah. You were extremely selfish. This is how your mentality worked.
Yeah.
But we help you learn how to stand up for yourself, like in healthy ways, by taking action, and help you build up your self-esteem, like all of these things, and helping you change your mindset. And it's not the victim blaming mentality, right?
No.
This is literally helping you get through what you've been through.
Yeah.
And how we all have to shift our mindsets throughout our lives to grow.
It was our experience that all the stuff, like if you could put everything in a basket and say, this is everything I'm dealing with. It's depression, it's anxiety, it's codependency, it's all this stuff. If we had to sort through it and figure out who's responsible for what, I was responsible for the majority of it. Some of these things you showed up with,
absolutely.
Alanon would call those defect. Alanon really just calls everything a defect of character. Like we talked about people pleasing tendencies. It's more of a naive approach to life.
Yeah.
We look at that as, okay, there's a rational reason you do this. It is not bad. It is not a defect, certainly.
Right.
You just need to learn how to sharpen that and use it wisely.
Right.
We're not going to victim shame you or blame you and say that exacerbates the issues that someone's already dealing with.
Yeah.
As they're feeling less than and unworthy and unloved. And
right.
That's not what we do here.
Yeah, and it doesn't help you build your self-esteem when you have that victim blame mentality. You know, when you're being taught that you just need to focus on yourself and work on yourself and do everything for your, like, make sure you're dealing with your character defects. That can put somebody in a really dark hole too.
Yeah, imagine that after you had been through years of addiction and psychological abuse with me, that I handed you a sheet and I said, here, now write down your defects of character and how you're responsible for a lot of this.
I'd have been pissed.
Oh, hell yeah, you should be pissed.
I'd have been real pissed.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. It is.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that everyone has some issues, but we focus more on the issues that you've been dealt rather than those you showed up with. We will take care of those too, but let's some of this more severe stuff, let's handle that first, because I think that it's a falsely held belief that if you just fix all your problems, everything's going to be okay in your world. That's not true. Abusive people don't care about that.
No.
Narcissists don't care about that.
Nope.
They don't care how well you've honed your skills. They're going to continue to abuse.
Right.
That's what abusive people do.
Exactly.
Like, it's fuel for them.
Yeah.
So it's not going to help to just identify defects of character or any of those things.
No.
It's, something you've really, really got to educate yourself on, strengthen yourself up, build yourself up, and then decide what's best for you. Is this something you feel like you could manage with boundaries? Could you get them to a place where they're willing to do something different? Or is it something you have to walk away from?
Yeah.
You will know that.
Right.
But I don't know. Like, I've heard stories of people that have been in like the groups of Alanon for, 20, 30 years with someone who's still in active addiction or is active abuser.
Mm-hmm.
I just never been there myself. Well, actually I have, but it's not a life that I want. I chose to walk out.
Right.
I can't do that crap anymore.
Right.
It was rotting me from the inside out.
Yeah. And being a cycle breaker is very hard. Very, very hard.
Yeah. Have we haven't talked about that on the show, have we? Cycle breaking?
No,
not as much.
Not necessarily. I mean, we talked about being okay being the villain in somebody's story, which is which is about being a cycle breaker.
Yeah.
But we haven't necessarily gone down a whole topic on that.
We will
a whole
eventually.
episode on that.
We'll
Yeah.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a time to plug a newsletter, because we've never mentioned it on the show.
We don't talk about the newsletter that much.
We have a free newsletter.
We have so many free resources that we forget to mention, but it's all out. Like, we have so many free resources.
Yeah, for every paid resource we have, which is just the course, and if you ever coaching and workshops, we have plenty of other free resources, including the podcast, the community, free guides that are out there.
Yeah, the community is free.
Yeah, all that stuff's totally free.
Yeah.
The newsletter is one of them, though. If you go to our website, tufo.com, and scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a subscribe button down there. And you just punch in your email address. We will not spam you or use your email for anything other than sending you a weekly newsletter, which is just an article that I write once a week. It's so good. And cycle breaking, I think, has come up before. So good. Thank you, but I don't think I'm that good of a writer. I appreciate Stop it. Please. You've gotten so many great compliments because you're an amazing writer. It's so good. They're great. They're great, y'all. And I'm not just saying that because he's my husband. Y'all have heard me talk shit to him. So I'm being real. I'll give you compliments too. She shit talks me daily, y'all. Keeps me humble though. I'm all right. Kiss my ass. That's not true. We have a very good balance of complimenting each other and challenging each other and giving each other shit. I am like I'm like a 8-week-old Labrador. Like, I come in the house and I'll pee on the floor, then you whack me with the newspaper, and I'm coming around that corner 2 seconds later with my tail wagging. I don't care. Talk shit. Hit me with the paper. I don't care. You sound so naive. I'm coming right back. Why are you doing that? It just doesn't hurt my feelings. You don't get your feelings hurt easily, which is wild to me. You don't. Do you, or do you just hide them? I have feelings, dude. Well, I know you have, what the hell? I know you have feelings, but you don't get them. I grew up with 2 brothers and crazy ass parents. Okay. So I don't get my feelings hurt too easy. That's just trained in me though, but I still have feelings, plenty of them. Lots of them. Well, I know you do. And I grew up with you and your family. Fuck you. God. I come in with the bad haircut and I was like, oh, here comes Hillary Swank from Boys Don't Cry. Oh, I said that. You got to get hard, man. I did tell you that. You got to get hard quick. That was back in college, though. It's like walking into the pen day one. You did look like Hillary Swank. That was a true statement. You think a 15-year-old male wants to hear that? You weren't 15. You were in college. That's even worse. I think you were in college. God. I don't remember. Okay, yes, my family has been very critical, okay? But they love the shit out of you. I love them more. Okay.
All right.
I want to finish with this. So we've talked about moving from being naive to being cynical, which is better than naive.
Yes, it
to
is.
ultimately wisdom. We're going to get you there.
Yep.
We will love you until you can love yourself. That's what we've always vowed to do. We will be here with you every single step of the way. We will always have patience for everyone, no matter which stage they are in, because we were both there.
Yeah.
Both been there before. But something I do want to focus on for just a moment, we kind of alluded to it near the end there, but I don't think we really hit it, is the danger of just self-focus in an abusive relationship. So we talked about one of these, which is it exacerbates self-blame. It reinforces feelings of guilt and self-blame.
That
and
can
shame.
mess with your self-esteem like no one's business.
You were abused
Yeah.
by me in active addiction. Let's focus on that.
Yeah.
I just want to focus on that. And that's how we treat people when they come to us, is that you've been through what we went through in general.
Right.
In general terms, not exactly the same, sometimes much worse, maybe sometimes not as bad, but I think we're a pretty good average of someone's experience.
Yeah.
Another thing, it undermines self-esteem. Talk about your experience with some of this, because when we were going through the notes, you were like, oh, that one. Yeah. Eroding your self-worth and increasing your susceptibility to manipulation because you're just focusing on you. So the more and more you focus on your stuff and what you're doing wrong and how you're showing up with an abusive person in the room, right?
Yeah.
We've got a venomous snake rolling around the room, coming by every so often to bite you on the leg. And you're just focused so hard on, what did I do to make him do that? Was it the way I looked at him? Was it something I said? Was it my approach to the last time he bit me? Was it all this stuff? It erodes your self-esteem.
Yeah. I mean, think about even in early sobriety for you when you weren't really validating my experiences or my feelings or anything like that. And you're like, you need to get your shit together. You need to figure out you're too sensitive. You need to stop with making a big deal out of everything. You need to do all of these things. And it's like, something's wrong with me. I kept thinking something's wrong with me. And that made my self-esteem just go way under. I remember going to therapy thinking, just tell me what I need to do. Tell me how to fix this. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Help me figure this out. And she opened my eyes to something completely different, which was to actually start trusting my instincts and realize that I had been harmed.
Yeah. You'd been through a lot.
Yeah.
With me and other people in your life. You've
Right.
been through a ton.
Right.
It wasn't the best idea to just focus on your stuff.
No. And of course we went through some of my things, but it was
Cognitive
more
distortions.
Yeah,
and
like
things
my
that.
cognitive distortion, which happens within this stuff too. I mean, of course I had my issues, my black or white thinking or the all or nothing thinking, like all of those things, and just being super anxious or whatnot. I had to learn how to change my thought process because of the harm that had been done.
Another thing you can run into when you just focus so much on yourself without talking about abuse. And I think I've been accused before, maybe you have too, of being like addict bashers. And I'm not. Like I am one, man. Like I am one.
Right.
Like, I'm not here to bash anyone. I'm just telling you what I did.
Yeah.
And what I see many of us do.
Right.
Most of
reality.
us.
It's reality.
It's the reality, and I'm not going to apologize for that.
No.
This is what happens.
Yeah.
But you can enable the abuse if you just maximize the time spent in therapy or in a support group, focusing on you and your reactions to abuse.
Yeah.
Abuse is going to happen with or without your reaction generally.
Yeah. That's what we teach in the communication section.
Like I'm not saying that certain things can't make communication easier or better. Your reaction to abuse and coming after someone. Is that going to be the best solution to keep yourself safe? No, not always.
Right.
But if you just focus on your defects, just focus on what you've done
Focus
wrong.
on your reactions. Focus on what you're doing. Focus on those things.
What was your part in that?
What is your part? You're missing the big point, because no matter how you react or no matter how you don't react, they're going to do what they're going to do.
You are minimizing the abuser's responsibility and you're enabling their behavior.
Yes.
Bottom line.
Yeah. It's condoning in a way.
Yeah. What is that? Oh, Good Boundaries and Goodbyes.
Yes.
I'm about halfway through that one. You've already read it. You've been telling me to read this thing forever.
I'm so proud of you. You finally read
It's
it.
really good. It's really good. But she says, when you allow someone to violate a boundary, you are validating bad behavior. I agree with that. I agree with that. Boundaries
You
without
used to
consequences and
not.
boundaries without, access without responsibility. Another way that she puts it. I love that.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
There's also an imbalanced focus. Once again, it's neglecting self-care and safety because you're just focusing on yourself,
Right.
on your reactions to abuse.
Right.
You shouldn't be reacting well to abuse.
No.
I don't
No.
mean to say that ugly, but you shouldn't.
You should be focusing on your safety. And focusing on your safety means taking action and figuring out what you need to do to protect yourself.
And
Not to change your defects.
the all-encompassing one, I think possibly the most dangerous, is that you perpetuate the cycle of abuse by maintaining the power imbalance and hindering the escape from abuse.
Right.
There's still going to be a power imbalance because the abuser, without any responsibility for change, is going to continue to do
There's
what they're
no
going to do.
accountability.
Why they're not going to change, right? They're just going to keep doing what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that power imbalance will remain, which is what a lot of abuse is about. It's control. I guess what Bancroft says is that abuse is generally about control. It's, I need to control the narrative. I need to control you. I need to control your thoughts, the way you feel about things. I need to make sure that I can control that scene. And the more focused you have on yourself, it's almost ideal for an abusive person in some ways, Yeah. So if you're listening, we're glad you're here because this is exactly what we cover. This is exactly what we strive to avoid, is keeping people stuck in that loop of what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? I've known many, many, many addicts that have lost their lives to this thing. And it's not like they didn't have family that loved them dearly, friends that loved them dearly, treatment centers that did everything they could. Addiction is different and it's very individual for every single person. And to the degree to which someone is stuck in it and their willingness to get out and their ability to be honest and do the work necessary in therapy and treatment and abstinence and all these things, it's not up to anyone. Mm-hmm. It's not up to anybody necessarily. Like that was something as a decision that I had to make personally. And everyone I've ever seen recover was a decision that they had to make personally, is to get help. Like it's a disease that is bookended by choices. I picked up enough times to put myself there, and at some point, recovery was a choice to get out. Mm-hmm. So you had very little effect on that outside of putting up boundaries and saying, I'm not tolerating this shit anymore.
Right.
And stepping away. And for me, I wasn't quite gone enough to say, oh my God, I'm going to lose absolutely everything. I've got to do something about this.
Right.
It was that and the lies that got me.
Yeah.
That was our last newsletter, The Lies.
Yeah.
If y'all are listening, you've never seen the movie Flight, check out Flight.
It's a good movie.
At the very end, he recounts an experience that I basically had, talking about the lies and how the lies of addiction ultimately will wear you down to an absolute nub. Mm-hmm. That's what got me.
Yeah.
That was awful.
And then you couldn't lie any longer.
I could not tell another lie.
No.
It's like, I can't do it anymore.
Right.
Even when it benefits me, I can't do it. Like, I could easily lie. And it's just, I can't do it.
It's like, I'm just going to have to suffer the consequences of not lying.
Man, I've even gone to extremes before. I remember, this has been a few years ago, but I left Walmart or like a Dick's Sporting Goods or something, some retailer. And when I was checking out, I was like, oh, that's a lot cheaper than I thought it was going to be. And I got in the car and then I thought to look at the receipt and there's something on there that was not checked out. And I was like, damn, I got away with, I don't remember what it was. It was like a shirt or something, like $35 or whatever it was. I was like, huh, okay. So I started to drive away and I didn't even get out of the parking lot and I was like, fuck, damn it. Turned around,
Wow.
went in, paid for it. Like I've done things like that. I just can't do it anymore. I cannot live with myself.
That's so good.
Cannot live with
I'm
myself.
proud of you.
I mean, it's like,
not.
but then I think
that was
about like,
not how you were.
I think about like situations like that could come up where it's like, hey man, the keys of the kingdom are right here.
Yeah.
But if it involves being dishonest, it's just not going to be an option for me.
That's awesome.
I've told enough lies. I've told my lifelong limit it's met. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
That's good.
Can't do that shit anymore. Okay. Did you think we got at the top? Do you think we covered this?
I do. I think that this was
naivety to wisdom or to cynicism
to wisdom.
To wisdom. Moving from being naive to being cynical. F the world. Oh, by the way, cynical people tend to be my favorite. They're the funniest. They're funny. There's some really cynical wheelies that crack me up to no end.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like they know they're cynical too.
Uh-huh.
And it's just funny.
It is
I think the
funny.
best comedians tend to be cynical.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Yeah. But also just give
I don't want y'all to stay that way, but I am enjoying it along the way.
Right. Yeah.
The humor is hilarious.
It is. But give yourself time, because it is going to take time to get through all of these, and, patience, and do all the things. And we're here for you along the journey.
Yeah. Keep coming in here, listening every single week, keep participating in the community, keep seeing your therapist. If you're not already seeing one, check one out. Use the resources that we've got out there. I think we've got a pretty good grasp on what spouses need. Now, we're not perfect by any means, but better than anything else we've found.
Yeah.
So we're glad you're here with us. And to all of you that were there at the workshop and the meetup, thank you so freaking much.
Yeah.
When we started the podcast, that was the biggest caviar dream I think we could have come up with 2 years ago, was like, man, if we could like get people in a room one day to talk with us about this stuff, and they showed up because they listened, that would be the biggest caviar dream me and you could ever come up with. Am I right?
Yeah.
And then it happened.
Yeah.
And it's like, it still feels surreal.
It does. I was going to say the exact same thing. It hasn't like really, I did have my tears yesterday when I was going through all the pictures and stuff, because we did not take many pictures. Not very many people took many pictures because we were so present. And
someone made that point.
Two people made that point.
That.
And I love that too, because that's what we're about. Like Matt and I just we don't take many pictures. We don't document anything because we're very big on being present. And I started just going through some of the pictures yesterday and that some people had taken. And it was just like, the tears just started coming. And I'm like, this is crazy that we got to this point, that we were actually helping people just get through a really dark time in their life.
Yeah, you have no idea how much it means to us that you're here with us and that you support us. And
yeah, you support our mission and you're gaining something from it. That is huge. I love witnessing the growth, the growth I've seen from people, even within a couple of months, but I've seen people from a year ago who came in, and the way that they're shifting their mindset and they're making changes within their lives, and they're just like empowering themselves. Like it's incredible to witness.
Yeah, like they can be still in a bad situation, but there's a peace that just resides in them when you see them, when you talk to them, that can't be faked. It can't be faked. And it's not like they've gone back to being naive. They just developed this wisdom that even though I'm in a bad situation, I'm becoming empowered and I'm becoming comfortable with the idea that maybe I'm not here forever with this person.
Right. And you're learning.
When before it's like they couldn't imagine it and they were willing to tolerate abuse and abuse to their children, finances and everything else.
Well, a lot of people come in with asking, how do I fix my marriage? How do I fix this? How do I fix my partner? How do I help them? And then they realize that that's not the goal. That's not the goal, because you can't get there one-sided. The goal is to become you. If the goal is to be healed and to figure out who you want to be and what you want out of life, and realize that you have one life to live that's short and you want to make the best out of it.
And I hope that person who's struggling with substance abuse recognizes it before it's too late, and you do get what we got.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Right.
It is. And
right.
I hope that everyone gets that.
Right.
But let's be realistic. Most won't. We are the exception, not the rule.
But also, like I've said, the goal is to be okay with or without the person.
Yeah, like we talked about this. Like, would I be okay without you? Would you be okay without me? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
It would suck.
It would suck because we benefit each other's lives.
But we are prepared for that.
We bring something to
There's
each other.
There's value.
But it's important to be okay without the other person.
There are other relationships I have where I love them so freaking much. Other people in my life who have struggled with substance abuse and some of these narcissistic behaviors. And walking away was the hardest thing in the world. But once I did, I was like, man, I can't believe that I did that for so long. Mm-hmm. That was the most one-sided thing ever. Like, they freaking beat my ass.
Right.
Figuratively and literally. I mean, literally for years and years and years with stuff. And it's just, man, I never thought I'd be strong enough to ever do it.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be ready until you're strong enough.
Yeah.
We recognize that, which is why I will never tell anyone, hey, you should just go.
Just go. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to build yourself up. You just have to be okay with or without. And that's what you're doing. And that's what you're learning when you're getting validated, when you're educating, when you're getting empowered, and then you're healing through your recovery. Yeah, that's what you're doing.
This is what recovery actually is.
Yes.
Kind of back to the topic of the entire podcast. And I just want to say that for everyone that listens, everyone that follows along and watches us, watches our videos and whatnot, you guys motivate us so much to want to learn more, be better at this, and to offer more and more resources to help people through this.
Yeah.
I think the sky's the limit for what we could offer, what we could do, and what we could build and put together that's going to help people. And you guys motivate us so much to keep going.
Yep.
I mean, it's lonely for a long time when you started a podcast. We were talking to nobody forever.
Yeah.
Like I was looking at our downloads, and a year ago, for instance, we get more downloads in a day now than we used to get in a month. Mm-hmm. And this is a year ago.
Yeah.
We were, celebrating 10,000 downloads on the beach last summer.
That was exciting.
And it felt like,
I loved that.
but we were talking to, we had some people that follow along, some loyal listeners that are still listening today, but it was just a handful of people. And so for a long time, it just feels like you're kind of out there speaking into the ether. Like there's no one around, like you're speaking to the abyss. Mm-hmm. But now like people are responding, they're getting back. And I'm just like more fired up than ever to really, really build something for people.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
We are building.
It's going to be amazing. So stick with us. It's going to get better. I can assure you of that. We'll get better. We'll keep learning. We'll keep
more resources,
educating ourselves, more resources. We've got more meetups planned, possibly retreat on the horizon as well. We've thought about splitting these things where we have couples on some, and then on others, we've got individuals. Mm-hmm. I think that could be a lot of fun, splitting those groups up.
We thought of doing some like mini virtual things.
Yes.
So
yeah, for a lot of people that traveling's not an option for you.
Yep.
You just can't get away.
Yep.
Then we'll do some web-based
be
versions.
patient with us. It's just us two,
for now.
Like for now. So we're doing the best we can, but we're working on it. Like we know that the need is there. We do.
We're not quitting anytime soon.
We're not.
I promise you that. That was something people told us about. Like,
yeah.
Please don't
Please don't stop. Please don't stop.
We won't. I promise you. We are stubborn as shit if you can't tell.
Yeah. You think?
It's in our DNA.
I think this is a good conversation.
Solid.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Till next time, I'm Matt.
I'm Paige.
And we'll see you.
Bye.